Well, I certainly compliment the Beef Publication for putting this conference together. It addresses a key issue in the beef industry, brings members of the production sector, the industry sector, the academia together to discuss an appropriate topic. Let's get right to the point of really the question of the morning conference here, and that is, are we filling the demand for quality beef? Remember the sector that I come from, which is the higher quality sector. We represent the prime, we represent the natural, and then our certified Angus beef product. And the answer from our perspective is clearly no. There is not an adequate supply, and we'll talk more about that as we venture into this conversation further. Can we as an industry? Absolutely. The U.S. beef industry has the potential to produce high quality beef, and the part that fits with that question is, can we do it profitably? Again, absolutely. The economic signals that are being sent now back to the production sector clearly point out that there are dollars available. Let's look at that beef consumer and try to understand that individual just a little bit in terms of what they're looking for. There is no question when we look at the beef consumer of today and the beef consumer of tomorrow that flavor is the driver. Some excellent research at Texas Tech University indicated that once the tenderness threshold level is met, and that's a key part of this statement, the tenderness problems can certainly cause undesirable eating experience, but once that threshold is met, then flavor is nearly 2.5 times as important as tenderness in that consumer's desire to continue eating beef. Flavor is the real driver of beef consumption. We need to talk a little bit about the origin of flavor. There are parts of that are not as well understood as need to be. Dr. Gary Smith at Colorado State has identified one component of that being the carbonyl compounds located in intermuscular fat, or marbling as we refer to it, as being a key part of that flavor indicator. That said, then, if marbling is the key, then quality grade should reflect the probability of a positive eating experience, and it does. As we move the spectrum from standard, whereas I often indicate good luck in terms of a positive eating experience, to select, where about 25% of our product is unacceptable, then we move into premium choice, where somewhere in that 4 to 6% range is unacceptable, and prime about a 1 to 2% unacceptable. Quality grade does certainly reflect the probability of a positive eating experience for that consumer. Are we hitting this target relative, if quality grade is an indicator, where are we at in the beef industry as far as quality grade in terms of what we're doing as an industry and what we need to be doing? The National Beef Quality Audit did a very nice job of identifying what's ideal and what we're actually. Let's just pick a couple parts of it. Prime, for example, there's a growing need for prime in the retail food service sector, and they identified 7% as ideal. As our company, we would certainly agree with that level, and yet as an industry, we're at 1.5%. We got work to do in that area. Upper choice, they identified 29%. Again, that's a figure we would agree with. We think 1/3 of beef production needs to be in the prime and premium choice range in terms of what the retail food industry is asking for. In contrast, we're below 20% as an industry in hitting those two targets. In the opposite end, we don't need standards as an industry, and yet we've got about 6% of our cattle qualify in there. So we have work to do in terms of hitting the target that's been identified for us in the National Beef Quality Audit. As an industry, can we hit the target? I'm not going to dwell a lot on this, but I indicated earlier, absolutely. Cattle management has a huge impact. Genetics is a big factor, and we've got genetic information to help producers make decisions. Health is a huge factor. Cattle that get sick are not going to hit your premium quality levels. Nutrition throughout the lifetime of that animal is critical. Management, how we use things like our marketing system, selling cattle basically at the right compositional endpoint, how we manage implants, how we manage some of the new beta agonists, and do they fit at all. These are things that are key as part of cattle management system. The second part is, does it pay to hit? And I think if you go before 1999, probably it didn't. But today, the economic signals are there. We're seeing some huge differences as we look at selects versus choice, as we look at CAB versus low choice, as we look at prime versus either choice or select. Let's talk about some specific figures on that. Cattle Facts data would show, for example, that the economic impact of premium choice. The upper level of choice, as well as primes, has over a $500 million impact in terms of the economic value to beef producers. That's about $18 to $20 a head for all cattle produced in the beef industry. That's huge, and so this is a critical part of our total industry, is being able to hit this target. So then, what are the challenges? What's keeping us from doing this, or what maybe are some of the challenges in the future? I want to identify 4 of those with you. Global competition. The question is very important to say, can the United States maintain its position as the home of premium beef? We have some other countries that have made great progress in putting feedlots together, growing corn and related grain products, and the global competition is there. And so I think our industry has a real challenge of maintaining our position as the home of the highest quality beef produced in the world. And that's a position that I believe firmly is economically important to our producer. We have some things going on in instrumentation. Some of it's very positive and very exciting. We've made progress in some of the instrument grading equipment that's available. Seems to do a pretty nice job on yield grade. We're making progress on quality grade, but I think there is, if implemented prematurely, there is some threats of instrument grading in terms of the impact it could have on supply of prime and premium choice. We also have some new products that have ventured into the market. One of those is specifically level 2 beta agonists. The level 1 beta agonists we looked at and saw very little impact on quality grade. In contrast, the new level 2 beta agonists that are on the market seem to have a fairly big impact on quality grade, and so our concern is will that impact the amount of prime and premium choice available to the consumer? And the last challenge is simply the production system we're using. If we get calves in programs, especially the growing phase, where we don't get the kind of performance on these cattle that we need, there's a great probability that we'll lose some of this quality grade. And because of feed costs as they are today, that operator, the stocker operator or the feedlot operator, is really challenged to try to put together low-cost production systems, but unfortunately in so doing they may be sacrificing quality. And so today I do think that the one single factor, if I could identify one of these 4 as being critically important right now today, the production system is probably the one having the greatest impact. In summary, I posed initially, are we hitting the quality target? We'd say from a premium standpoint, prime and premium choice, the answer is clearly no. Can we? Absolutely. Can we do it profitably? Absolutely. And in our view, the long-term future of the U.S. cattle industry as being the supplier of quality beef rests in our ability to hit this target.